So the Acolyte. I put a post out yesterday saying how, it's been canceled. We're not getting to season 2. So we're not going to see any more. Is it Chimere or Chimere? Chimere. No more Chimere. No more May. No more Osha. Or I guess it's May that's like brainwashed May. She doesn't know what's going on because they, Chimere reset or took her memories away. It was crazy. So we're not going to see any of that come to fruition. We're not going to see Darth Plagueis show up again. We're not going to see any of that kind of stuff. Yoda at the very end with a little tease. We're not going to see that come to fruition. None of that stuff. And I don't care because I didn't enjoy the show. Although, again, there were aspects I liked. And a lot of you guys were getting on me about me saying how it, this show, it did have some of the best lightsaber battles since the prequel. For me, Phantom Menace. Yes. Obi-Wan and General Grievous, they have a really good lightsaber battle. Obi-Wan and Anakin at the end, it is a fantastic lightsaber battle. Can't even talk now. I'm nervous. But I felt no emotional connection to the Anakin and Obi-Wan fight, mainly because the acting is just bad throughout that whole series. It's just a CGI fest. And so I felt nothing. For me, just for context, for me, the best lightsaber battle in Star Wars, period. This is for me, my opinion. You can put yours in the comments below. But for me, the best is Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader. Really, two, I guess, best in Empire Strikes Back and then also in Return of the Jedi at the very end. Those for me are the best lightsaber battles in all of Star Wars. Obi-Wan and Darth Maul is amazing. Is an amazing fight, and I think that's the one that I was hoping we'd see a continuation of that speed and ferocious style of fighting in movies to come. We got none of that in the sequel trilogies, absolutely none of that. So for me, I was like, okay, I want to see more of the Obi-Wan Darth Maul fight, even the Qui-Gon Jinn Darth Maul fighting, and Obi-Wan, just the three of them going at it. I wanted to see more of that. The Clone Wars, as far as the cartoon, does nothing for me. As far as lightsaber battles, I don't like the animation, so it's hard for me to kind of continue to watch that show. I want to do it one day, but I can't get past episode like 3 or 4 of season 1, so I'm still there. So the animation one does nothing for me. The sequel trilogies have done nothing. Obi-Wan, the show, Kenobi, that lightsaber battle, good. Still not as much of a connection emotionally for me, but I was very much emotionally invested with both Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader fights in Empire and Return of the Jedi, and then the Obi-Wan fight against Darth Maul in Phantom Menace. And so for me in this one, I felt a little bit of that, even though, again, the characters I didn't really care about in this one. But Chimere, his fighting style, most times it felt like he was trying to kill people. The Jedi, a lot of times, the choreography was not that good. But it was exciting, and I haven't felt excited about a Star Wars lightsaber battle since The Phantom Menace. It's just what it's been. I even think Dooku versus Anakin in Revenge of the Sith, that one's very good. But again, the acting is just bad. It's just, I don't know. Things are happening. That's why I felt with that movie. A lot of things are happening. It's cool to watch, a lot of effects, but no emotional connection. So that's really what I meant by that. I just felt like I had to kind of like speak to that a little bit. Because a lot of people were like, what do you mean? Did you watch Revenge of the Sith? Did you watch Clone Wars? Did you watch Rebels? I'm like, the cartoons do absolutely nothing for me. As far as lightsaber battles, stories are cool, but that's not it. So yeah, that's the reason. Now, my 2 top tier, what I put at the highest point of the totem pole for lightsaber battles, those are the 2, Empire and Return of the Jedi. I don't know where I would rank necessarily episode 5 and episode 8, really episode 5 of the Acolyte. As far as the lightsaber battles, it was good. Under Phantom Menace, of course, but emotionally, I was more invested, and I thought it just came, I don't know, the end result was better. So those are my thoughts there. But yeah, let's go ahead and check out this Nerdrotic video. This is our first time reacting to Nerdrotic. You know what? I almost forgot about that. If you count it, then the hallway scene in Rogue One is actually my fave. I almost forgot about that one. You're right. And the hallway scene, or what they would consider a hallway scene for Mandalorian season 2. Also awesome. But that Darth Vader one, that's the Darth Vader I've always wanted to see. He shows up a tiny little bit in the Kenobi show, but in that Rogue One scene alone, that's the Darth Vader that I've read in comics, and you hear about doing the crazy, horrible things. That's him. Haven't really seen him in anything else. But let's check out this Nerdrotic video. Again, first time reacting to Nerdrotic. See what it's all about. Could this continue as far as reactions on the channel? Maybe. We'll see. But for sure, Critical Drinker, we've got one for him a little bit later on too. Lowest Star Wars ratings. Nobody watches the Acolyte. Ooh.
Nerdrotic.com.
Greetings, you over 1 million hellions.
Oh my God.
Who haven't subscribed yet. In a week where Mark Hamill has used Star Wars as a platform to tell a sizable portion of the fandom.
I heard about this.
Twice.
May the force be with you. Unless you're MAGA, then you can go force yourself.
And my message to MAGA, go force yourself.
And all this happened with an event that's been pretty bad for Disney Star Wars. Well, things just got worse for them, but much better for humanity. Because I thought I was out, but they keep pulling me back in. The Acolyte's back in the news. Because it turns out it wasn't a very good idea to hire former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein, Leslie Headland, to head a Star Wars show. And then give the former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein, Leslie Headland, $180 million to actually make it. Turns out.
First off, why are these shows costing so much and you don't see it? One, in the writing for sure, but even in just the immersiveness of how the world feels. Like, once I realized how much they spent on this show, I said, you gotta be kidding me. There's something else I watched recently and it said it cost less than what the Acolyte cost. A movie, actually. It was like a movie. It wasn't Deadpool and Wolverine. What was it? It was something that didn't cost as much as a Disney Plus TV show. I want to say it was Acolyte. Obviously, the movie, whatever it was, did much better, but the Acolyte didn't fare out so well.
It probably wasn't a good idea to attack the fans before the show even came out. And I would say at the very least, it was ill-advised to let anybody creatively involved with this show, especially the adult pretenders, to talk to anybody at all.
Pretenders.
Yes.
Although I do appreciate their honesty because it was indeed the gayest Star Wars ever made.
It's pretty gay, let's be honest.
And it turns out.
Did anybody else see this interview? When they were talking about how like R2-D2 is gay? They believe R2-D2 is gay. I didn't think robots or like not sentient beings, but yeah, but I didn't think robots had a sexual preference, but okay.
The most ill-advisable thing of all was actually releasing the show. And then the world got to see former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein, Leslie Headland, take George Lucas's lore on 8 separate trips to Harvey's private suite. It became the living embodiment of the South Park meme.
Put another gay diverse woman in it, make it more.
Fires in space, communist lesbian space witches, conceiving
Park,
identical twins, played by the same actress, exactly the same way. More lesbians in space, inappropriate, played by the same actress, exactly the
for both characters. Okay. The many emotions of Amandla Stenberg. Okay, that's
the same way. More lesbians in space, inappropriate Jedi Padawan relations, Jedi-abetes, and a bad guy straight out of the worst kind of fan fiction. Watching Disney Star Wars commit Mary suicide was glorious because I got some good news and I got some bad news. We'll start with the bad news because I feel a great disturbance in the Force, as if millions of YouTubers suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. I fear something terrible has happened, and it has. The Acolyte's been canceled. But then there's the good news. The Acolyte's been canceled. This crime against imagination that committed creative genocide being cut down is a massive win for the fandom, for all things good and humanity. Her deadline, exclusive, The Acolyte canceled. No season 2 for D+'s Disney Star Wars.
That was a
series.
screenshot that I shared on the community
Star
page.
Wars that died in 2012. There's only Disney Star Wars. The story of The Acolyte will not continue, with Lucasfilm opting not to proceed with the second season season of the Disney Star Wars offshoot starring Amanda Stenberg, sources tell Deadline. Word of the decision comes more than a month after the 8-episode first and last season of the series from creator, director, executive producer, showrunner, and former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein, Leslie Headland, wrapped its run on D+. I have to give Deadline credit on this one. They're being far more realistic about the canceling of The Acolyte, far more than their comrades in the Access media who will be coping for the next week. The news is not entirely surprising. Well, it is and it isn't. In a normal reality, of course this show would be canceled, but we don't live in that world. Normally, D+ would give this a season 2, and God, I was hoping it would, but
I thought it was
unfortunately,
going to.
#renew The Acolyte failed. The Acolyte did okay with critics with 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's more than okay. Don't try to absolve yourself from this. But divided Star Wars fans, which reflected in its overall viewership. Might want to check your math on that one, because divided is an 18% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, a 4.1% score on IMDb, and a 3.9% user score on Metacritic.
Well, and the other part was nobody was really watching it. As far as like hours watched, I believe is what they do. Like they do like based on hours watched. And it's millions of hours still. Like, don't get me wrong. It's still millions of hours that people are watching this. But they have a high threshold that you need, like a show or movie needs to hit to either get a sequel or get another season. And every week, over multiple weeks, the show was decreasing in its overall viewership. People just didn't enjoy it. And so, yeah, it was like either people didn't watch it at all, watched videos on it and didn't watch the show at all, or people started to watch and then just kind of drifted off. That's literally how it was. I wanted to do that, but I watched the whole thing. Didn't do reactions for the whole season because I was like, I don't really want to put people through this. I'll just talk about it. But yeah, it was bad.
All your trailers getting ratioed and clips from the actual show showing up on X Twitter and getting roasted to the tune of millions of impressions. If by divided you mean overwhelming majority hated it, sure. Driven by the interest into this venerable franchise, which is a testament to what George Lucas created, because Disney Star Wars has been crap for a decade, The Acolyte got off to a strong start when it launched June 4th, with 2 episodes generating 4.8 million views in its first day on the streamer, to rank as the biggest series premiere on D+ this year. Most of them being YouTubers, but The Acolyte could not sustain the momentum, dropping out of the top 10 in week 3 and staying off before returning to number 10 after the release of the finale, 335 million minutes viewed.
So at the bottom, number 10.
Believed to be the lowest for a Disney Star Wars series finale ever. You know, maybe that diss track directed at Star Wars fans from Amanda Stenberg probably wasn't a very good idea either. That inevitable cope I was speaking about with the Access media has already started with Variety. The Acolyte is dead. Ah, that sounds great, doesn't it? Disney Star Wars series won't return for season 2. While Deadline said it wasn't a surprise The Acolyte got canceled, Variety says initially it was a shock. The news comes at once as a shock, given how much the season 1 finale ended on a cliffhanger and teased several plot lines for a season 2. To be fair, it is a bit of a shock that Disney canceled a show led by a gay woman starring a non-binary person of color. And not so much of a surprise given the widely opposing reception from the fans and the less than robust viewership that appeared to drop off after the series premiere in June. Some critics and fans, sorry, you misspelled fan, loved how the show challenged the traditional perception of the Jedi as infallible and wholly virtuous. Other fans, however, the ones who were correct, felt that those creative choices were antithetical to the good versus evil nature of Star Wars storytelling and strongly objected to the show's expansion, you misspelled desecration, of the mythology of the Force. And you know it couldn't be an Access Media article without them insinuating that it's your fault. I
think I said this before too. If I hadn't before, like, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure I did. You know, actually, no, let me just wait for it.
Acolyte was also review bombed, an insidious practice most often employed as a form of digital protest against inclusive casts centered around actors of color and LGBTQ, whereas the plus bigot characters.
Oh, God. Look, should there be like, hate towards anybody because they're different than you? No. 100% straight period. Absolutely not. You shouldn't. It just shouldn't be the case. Even for things that are made a little bit differently from what you expect, I don't think that should be the case. But when it's shoehorned into an already established IP that not only is trying to add these things, but it's also trying to change main aspects of the lore of an original IP. That's when you make a big mistake. Like, why even try to do that? If the Acolyte was something totally its own, kind of like what was it, Child of Fire, Rebel Moon. Rebel Moon is just an offshoot Star Wars that Zack Snyder was trying to do in the Star Wars universe, and Lucasfilm wanted nothing to do with it. So he's like, oh, I'll just do my own thing. It's literally Star Wars. Well, it's trying to be like Star Wars. I haven't watched the director's cut stuff yet, but it's literally trying to be like Star Wars. If this was like its own offshoot thing, maybe Amazon could have taken it. They're already doing it with the Lord of the Rings of Power. Why not have your own little Star Wars series over there? Do this, name things a little bit differently, go about it differently. You can't obviously have, actual lightsabers. You can't call it that. That maybe it would have been accepted a little bit more. Maybe people would have been open to the idea of it, like people were with Rebel Moon, even though those movies are really bad. But the fact that you're trying to put it into Star Wars and you're just taking a dump on all the existing lore and the existing, stories that are there. And then you get mad at us because we don't like it. Like, what did you expect was going to happen?
Despite these objections, the Acolyte also
Was that the
captured
goat
a great
scream
deal
from
of positive reactions,
Thor: Love
especially
and Thunder?
surrounding the reveal of Manny Jacinto, a scene in which Jacinto disrobes along a rocky coastline as a tactic to seduce Osha to the dark side, garnered a great deal of attention, spawning legions of thirst posts on social media. And so ends the saga of the Acolyte, a failure so epic it was too big for Disney to ignore, yet they will ignore all the lessons that they could learn from this disaster, including but not limited to thirst posts don't equal views. You can't lie yourself into a success, even if it's with the help of your comrades in the access media. Remember this one? All the backlash aside, the Acolyte is actually a Star Wars success story. Despite the naysayers, the Acolyte is pulling in viewers faster than the Millennium Falcon on a Kessel Run. Or this from Wired, the Acolyte is the long-awaited death of review bombing. Well, maybe all the money Disney wasted on the positive review bombing. And my personal favorite from Collider, the Acolyte continues to dominate streaming charts.
Continues.
Ironic.
And for the crowd who says we shouldn't talk about any of this stuff or cover it or review it because it only helps, well, I give you just the latest but possibly most shining example of why that isn't true. Because the Acolyte's been canceled. But it wasn't canceled because of critics or YouTubers. It was canceled because of the fans. They spoke up because Disney Star Wars once again betrayed everything about George Lucas's Star Wars. They prioritized the message over character and good storytelling, and that fails every single time.
The power of
You're
Admittedly,
canceled.
it's a bummer we're not going to get any more YouTube videos about this show because they were fantastic, but in the end, it's a win for the fandom. Take your victory lap. You earned it.
Nerdrotic.com.
Yo, hey, we got our first Nerdrotic video. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I think I just don't understand. I think what did it for me too, and I was still watching even after I saw this, that one interview with the guy, and they're saying how this show is the gayest Star Wars show, and R2-D2, I'm pretty sure he's gay, and all this other stuff. I was like, let me still give it a chance. You know what? They're going about it wrong, for one. Then they're attacking the fans once people say they don't like it. Don't do that. Same thing happened with Kenobi, with the black the black Sith lady that got stabbed like Qui-Gon but still stayed alive. That whole thing. Like, the same thing happened with that one. They were trying to go on a whole like racist rant thing that people were saying racist remarks to her, which I'm pretty sure they were. People do that all the time. I'm not surprised by that. But it's like they go through the same cycle over and over and over again of, hey, you don't like this? Okay, here's the reason you don't like it. It's because there's black people in it. Oh, here's the reason you don't like it. It's because there's this, there's gay characters. No, like, whatever. Who cares about any of that? Your story sucks. The writing is atrocious. The character motivations make absolutely no sense. Like, characters are making changes to what they were originally doing on the fly with nothing happening prior to justify it. Like, everything about it was just horrible. None of the characters, where am I at, 4, 5? I don't even know. None of the characters I really connect to. Soul, I originally liked in the first few episodes, and then he got insufferable towards the end. He kind of said the same. Sounded like he was trying to, taking a deep breath every time he spoke. His fighting style, while it was fine, towards the end, though, it got sloppy to me. Kamir, the main bad guy, the stranger, I think is what they called him originally. He was cool. I would have wanted to see more of him, but the show should have focused fully on him. Maybe him and his master, the lady with the lightsaber whip. Maybe the show focused more on them, or between him and Soul. I don't know. The focus just overall was not where it needed to be. So that's what was really upsetting about this one. I am glad that it's canceled. Not glad that, the people that worked on the show have to look for, other jobs or whatever. They'll figure that out. But I am glad that there is not going to be a season 2. Would I have watched it? Yes. Let's be honest. It's just the way this goes. But yeah, no, I'm not going that route.